Hi, and welcome to Writing Modern and Opinionated React, with just one catch that it's modern right now in late 2019. It may, however, not be modern, but it still probably will be opinionated in late 2020. In terms of the topics we'll be covering, we'll be starting off with some React essentials, including prop state, declaring components, component lifecycle, and functional-ish React, so in the ways in which React adheres to functional programming principles. Then we'll dive into actually writing modern and opinionated React, followed up by CARE, or class abuse resistance education. And we'll be making a case for using function components instead of class components pretty much everywhere, with some real project, real world examples. We'll then be diving into hooks and why modern React is all about hooks and what makes them so great. The basic premise for this is that React is unopinionated, so we need to be, because React has a few rules, sure, but as long as your component returns valid JSX, it's happy days and it's probably going to render. There are some guiding principles behind this whole modern and opinionated React, which is to spend your decision capital wisely and that of your teams. So you've only got so many decisions to make in a day, so defer to automatic decision making wherever possible effectively, and don't make things unnecessarily complex, because you make your life harder and your team's life a lot harder as well. You should always aspire to apply conventions, known or inferred. So known, you've read them or you've seen them in a project that you're working on, or you've inferred them from, say, a third-party library that you're working with that you thought was great to actually implement. You should always choose safe, or not always, but generally choose safe over exciting, which is to say, if you've got to choose a library to manage your application state, for instance, rather than component state, you would probably be using Redux because it's known, it's solved, and there's no problem you could really realistically run into that hasn't already been run into before, and there's a solution for it. Number 5 is to stay with, though not necessarily ahead of the curve, which is a lot to do with the way that the React ecosystem is constantly evolving, as is that of JavaScript, and you need to stay with that curve because new standards are adopted very quickly, but not ahead of. And so just to finish up the intro here, if you'd like to, you can find all of these slides and the code samples on the linked GitHub repository. If you want to run them, here are the commands, but of course you could look in package.json to find those anyway. So with the intro done, let's dive straight in.